I've been reflecting a lot on what I want this next phase of my life to look like, who I want to be, what it is that I want to do, and who I could be if I allow myself. Irrespective of what other people want, just honing in on my own compass for a little while. Most of this week has been spent apartment hunting and reflecting. So this week has brought up a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings, and I'm trying my best to navigate everything that's come up for me. Could use it as a weapon, could use it as a step stool, or for reading as a couch. Wow! So I've had this realization recently. I've realized how much I've been influenced by the people around me, particularly my family and my friendships. The people around me that were successful and were showing me my definition of success, or what would become my definition of success, right? I think now that I've gotten to a point in my life where I've accomplished a lot of those goals that I had outlined for myself when I was in high school, when I was younger. But a lot of the internal work is missing. When I was younger, I was definitely a people pleaser, and I definitely still am. It's something I'm actively working on. But I think in that, I've allowed the people around me to shape my personality. I've had my mind made up for a while that I want to, have a little bit more independence. Now I understand the idea of independence means different things to different people, right? I feel like I'm really far behind a lot of my peers. I mean, I don't live alone, and I've never lived alone. I don't really understand taxes or credit or any of that stuff. I feel like I'm light years behind a lot of my peers, the people I graduated with, my friends now. I never really got the opportunity to come to find myself in the way that a lot of young people do. I don't think the trajectory of my life is where I thought it would be when I was younger. And honestly, it's not going the direction that I wanted to go. And now that I've reached that point, I've really been confronted with this problem of how heavily I've allowed other people to influence my decision making. I've always been very self-assured as a person, but the problem when you're self-assured and a people pleaser is there's this disconnect between what you want and what the people around you want for you. And usually my tendency to be a people pleaser wins out. So I end up doing a lot of things that I would not do if it were up to me. And I've been forced to confront that a little bit. I think now that I'm at a place in my life where I am making my own decisions, or at the very least, I have the option to make my own decisions. And I've been wanting to default to doing what the people around me want me to do, and it's something I want to change. I mean, I can't live my whole life pleasing other people. I think a lot of this comes down to culture. I mean, I'm Indian. I was raised in a very traditional household, and granted, I still live with my parents. They've become a little bit more lax the older I've gotten, but at the core of it, we still uphold a lot of those traditional, Indian values. And I think that is a big part of this conversation, is how traditional my parents are and how much power they hold in the decisions that I make, the choices that I make. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them are the correct choices, are things that did end up benefiting me. There are quite a few areas in my life where I want to take back my ability to choose. And I think that's what it comes down to for me, is I was never allowed to make mistakes, and I'm still not allowed to make mistakes. When you have too many voices around you telling you what you should be doing, it's difficult to allow yourself the ability to make mistakes. Like I said, I've always been pretty self-assured as a person. I've always known what I want to do, but for the longest time in my life, I haven't listened to that voice. And I think it's time to start.